And now, live from Austin, Texas, Alex Jones.
We are live, my friends. It is the 15th day on this Monday. It is Monday, June 15th, 2009. We've got 2 hours left, spanning out like a vista before us as we go in, through, and beyond, as we talk to one of the most prolific researchers, one of the most prolific minds out there in challenging the established false reality. He is a great dispenser of hundreds of millions of red pills to humanity. And he has taken a lot of people very, very deep down the rabbit hole indeed, to where we're not in Kansas anymore. And you can question and debate the perceptions through the rose-colored darkly that David Icke looks through. But be careful that when you're getting the speck out of his eye, you don't get the giant beam out of yours. It's important to get that beam out. We all see through different perceptions, but certainly the perception of David Icke is proven to be much more clear than the average man or woman out there. So it's always great to have David with us. I have a host of issues I want to talk to him about: where the New World Order is going, what they're doing currently, trying to start World War III with Iran, trying to start things up over there, trying to start things up with North Korea, knowing they're in the middle of a power sharing and a power transfer, saying they're going to board their ships, a new Cuban Missile Crisis. Again, we're not defending North Korea or Iran. The point is, it's the bigger globalist evil using a smaller evil to bring in a global distraction. And the South Ossetia conflict, NATO encircling Russia, Pakistan, all of this today as the world launches into economic collapse, launches into worldwide warfare as the RAND Corporation has called for. So joining us, DavidIcke.com is the website. Our websites are Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com is the great David Icke. David Icke, thank you for joining us.
It's a pleasure, Alex. How are you?
Good. You heard me run down some of the ideas of things that I think are important right now. Let's start with suddenly somebody flips a switch and there's world crises. We're on the edge of nuclear war. They're saying North Korea is going to nuke. They're saying they're going to nuke people. Months ago, you were on the show 3 or 4 months ago, and you said you thought they were gearing up for a world war.
Yeah, well, that's where they want to go, because the world wars have served them very well. Nothing changes society quicker and more fundamentally and completely irreversibly than a war. And so when you look at the world after World War I, it was a world that was controlled by far fewer people and much more centralization of power than before. World War II came along. That process took a giant leap forward, and we had all these global institutions and the United Nations, the Bretton Woods Agreement. The European Union was justified to a large extent to stopping war in Europe. And so to complete the job, to move into this final global society that they want, a third world war is what is on the agenda. And I don't know if I've mentioned this before, but I had a letter from a traffic warden, a guy here in Britain, that's supposed to just dispense tickets for people who have broken the parking laws. And he contacted me, must be a year or so ago now, and said that he'd been called in and given new cards that he was told to take home and put away till further notice. One of them was a card that gave him the right to be a traffic warden, that you show for identity. That's fair enough. The second one was what they called a PACE card, which is the words that a police officer reads when he's arresting someone. And the third one was a card giving him, a traffic warden, the right to enter property without permission. And, of course, he's questioning, what the heck do I need these for? Well, just go leave them till further notice. He then meets a friend of his a few days later, who's a police officer, and he said that this police officer said that he was a man designated in his county, and there was someone like him in every county, and they were there to prepare for a coming war.
Stay there, David. Got a break. Long segment coming up.
Okay.
Recap that when we come back. Same thing is happening here. I can independently verify with government documents what you just said in the United States, Canada, Australia, Europe proper. We'll be right back with David Icke. The good old folks at New Silver Solution. And the website is supernaturalsilver.com. Supernaturalsilver.com. This is something that kills bacteria, viruses, you name it, well documented. They've got it down to a super small, nano-sized particle. Supernaturalsilver.com. Check them out at Infowars.com. Well, he needs no introduction. I know some stations weren't carrying that last segment. He was telling a story about a traffic warden who he knows in England, who said he was given a card to put away for secret emergencies to be able to enter homes without warrants. And then his friend didn't really know what that would be used for. Then he talked to another police officer who explained to him the key piece of the puzzle. And then I was saying to David, I can independently verify, this is even in our news, with InfraGard, that we told people about a year before it was in the news. Now they admit it, 56,000 and growing. That's a year-old numbers. Infrastructure protection, key people in power plants, refineries, businesses. I have a guy here who worked in LCRA security. And 6 years ago, about a year before he worked here, they gave him a card for infrastructure security, basically a get out of jail free card. And all the police have these badges. They're supposed to keep them away. And they're saying, oh, yes, the American people are the terrorists. The British people are the terrorists. Homeland Security's for them. Martial law is coming. A war is coming. David, continue with what the police officer told you.
Well, the police officer, who was a friend of this traffic warden, he called him aside one day and said, look, because I'm a good friend of you, I'm going to tell you this. But he said 5 times in the conversation, you must not tell anyone else. And what the police officer said was that he had a job in that county, and there was someone like him in every other county of the United Kingdom. And their job in the police force was to prepare for a coming war, which they knew was coming, and they were preparing for it well in advance. And that the military and the regular police were going to be used to meet what they knew was coming in terms of civil unrest in the streets when that war started and then the build-up to that war. And he said, you people, traffic wardens and private security guards and other such people, are going to be given powers that the police normally do, so that you can do those things while we're dealing with the civil unrest as a result of this war. And very, very shortly after the traffic warden contacted me, the government changed the name of traffic wardens from traffic wardens to civil enforcement officers, and gave them more powers, not all the powers, but more powers that the police normally do. And then about 6 months later, the government announced a new type of person called accredited persons. And these were, wait for it, private security guards and all the kind of people that the policeman had listed who were going to be given the right to stop and question people, to hand out certain fines, to hold them till the police arrived. And it's all part of this layer-by-layer building of self-policing, the people self-policing each other. Because, of course, when there's a few of you and you want to control the many, there's not enough of you physically to do it. So you have to get your target population, or many of the people within it, to police the target population. You have to get the sheep herd to police each other, so they don't need so many sheepdogs externally and shepherds externally, that the sheep are doing it for themselves. And this is what's being built all over the world. And this Third World War is definitely in the agenda because it's a massive problem which will be in need of a global, because of the global nature of the conflict, a global solution, which will be the final move to this structure we've been talking about all these years of world government, world army, and all the rest of it. And of course, the world army will be justified by the only way to stop war is to have one world army, and then no one can fight each other in terms of major conflicts anymore. These are the kind of things we're going to be seeing unfolding.
Okay, David, I just want to back you up because people are hearing this or months from now watching this on YouTube or prisonplanet.tv, and they're saying, okay, what's the proof? Everything David just said, every term he used, I have hundreds of mainstream articles, government documents. Let me just go over a few of them. Here in the United States, they are preparing paramilitary police. It's announced by the Air Force, the Army. They have regular Army in Tennessee without warrants, running warrantless checkpoints in the newspaper. Northcom has announced that they are to take on the American people. The Homeland Security documents DHS documents we broke that made national news state the #1 threat is returning vets, gun owners, that the whole Homeland Security system is for us. The British Ministry of Defense 10-year report, London Guardian reported on it, but it was declassified, 120 pages, was put out in September of 2007 and said in the coming next few years the public would rebel against the corrupt government, but that their job was to suppress the public to bring us into this new world order. And it said they will, even if the British people, they say, try to march on London, they will use neutron bombs on them. And then Dick Cheney said in the PNAC document, September 20th, 2000, Rebuilding America's Defenses, that they would use race-specific bioweapons on us. And now another layer under the paramilitary, you know, the spooks, the paramilitary, the police, the traffic wardens, auxiliary tattletales, there's now the trusted traveler North American hemispheric card.